The book of First Peter, chapter 4.
God is saying to you,
Chapter 4, going straight to the point, verse 17, and it reads, For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High, and if it begin at us, what shall be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Kol Elohim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I've learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and faithful with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua that they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, for whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. Ba'ashem, Ba'as in, Ha is the, Hashem His name. Yahushai meaning He saves, or He deliverer. True name to the Most High God and His Son, whose people ignorantly call God in Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by, I was watching this brother, he make a lot of short videos. He's a brother, I'm going to say fair use, fair use. Not profiting enough of this, but I'm just about to line the video with certain scriptures. Hope the Lord put us on the brother's spirit not to flag the video. But, you know, for the most part, most brothers don't flag each other's videos. Although, I've had that happen. But I also understand, too, you know, Jake don't know every brother and, you know, or every man that's in his truth, you know. So it's just like, you know, it is what it is, you know. But I know the video wasn't taken down, so call lawyer y'all bunch of y'all shut for that. Well, this caught my attention because, you know, you about to have a lot of our people that's going to try to call themselves being carnal to basically go against this man carnally, which, you know, that's not our blessing. The scriptures tell you that. Where's that at? I'm really bad at scripture, so I'm not going to get it off the top of my head, but what I can say is, you know, scriptures talk about, you know, Esau's blessing was the sword. You know, he was given the fatness of the earth. He was given all these carnal blessings. That's why Edom, the so-called white man, dwells in the blessed places upon the earth. You know, and that sword, that great sword that he has, is his weaponry, which ultimately is the gun. What, you know, is his weaponry. You know, because he got things far more devastating than a gun. Yet and still, you got Jake. You know, with the whole situation with Venezuela, which it could be staged, Maduro could be part of the shit. Who's to say? You got to remember, they say the world is a stage, and the people that live in it are all but actors. So, you know what I mean? You know, you got handlers, you got people that sit behind the scenes and literally manipulate other people. That's why you got some of these. Well, that's neither here nor there. But the point is, you know, I like to believe Charlie Kirk and his wife. You know, and I said that too, not knowing nothing. We come to find out she was like, oh, you know, being financed as a child when she was younger by Trump and all that shit. She's so in love with this nigga, JD Vance and shit, which he was wearing a damn dress. A bunch of freaks and weirdos, man. And I said it. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of stuff. I ain't never worn a motherfucking dress. Hey, your boy Young Thug wore a dress. They said that nigga was weird back when he was a weirdo back when that nigga wasn't even rapping. That nigga just weird. I got you. Anyhow, saying all that to say this, you know, Jake gonna get fucked up, and we coming into the time of Jacob's trouble because, you know, again, our blessing is a spiritual one. You know, scriptures tell us to wait upon the Lord till He rises up against the prey. You know. Now the thing is, you know, growing up, I've gotten into physical altercations. You might have to physically get into an altercation, you know, bringing out the word, doing some spiritual. The Lord might test you, or Satan might be allowed to, you know, do something to you to distract you. You know, and you got to be even more circumspect nowadays because it's really spirits out here. Spirits jumping on people. Somebody took the time to actually get a BB gun to come try to he didn't like what Jake was saying, so you wanted to threaten this man's life. So if you took the time to really premeditate that, then that means you really wanted to harm him if you could get away with it. And he knew the repercussions, and that's why the fuck he came with a BB gun. But what happens when it's lawlessness? That's why the Lord gonna have to literally, you know, take us off the streets. But I'm a little bit all over the place. Again, fair use, fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. I'm just gonna line up the scriptures with what's being said. And Lord willing, this is edifying. And this is we in the onstart of Jacob's trouble, like we on the onstart or the begin. We in the beginning of Jacob's trouble, like we in the beginning of World War III. Like we're in the beginning because World War III involves all these different nations, which when Iran did what they did, they said, fuck everybody. Hey, that was some gangster shit. I don't care what nobody's like when Putin did what he did. He did something like a Jake. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should have rephrased it. You know what I mean? Like the elder said, Jake once was in that region. That's why, Jake is the sand of the sea because they've been everywhere upon the planet. So, what I'm saying? Like, that's why you never know who an Israelite really is. They were scattered throughout the whole four winds of the earth. Jake got offended by it. I understood exactly what he meant. He said the Scythians, remember? Anyhow, not to be long-winded, really try not to be, but yeah, just like we in the beginning stages of World War III, we in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. That's why you're seeing all these ICE, different situations. And although that's died down, wait till they gonna do something that's gonna make it, because people quickly forget shit. You know what I'm saying? That's my 47 years of living. People and I'm a baby, like the elder would call me a baby, because I am. I still got a lot of growing up to do. Hopefully, the Lord gonna get me together before this shit goes. I'm gonna tell you this much: this truth grew me up a lot. I was way worse than this. I mean, I still got a sense of humor and whatnot, and sometimes I'm too austere, too serious. So the balance in between it is the Joker. Anyhow, saying all that to say this, something gonna happen where. Because people quickly forget shit. People forget when they was on their bad, when they was down on their luck. Now they up and they, there's people for you. People forget when you had to come through for them. Not the Lord dealing or the Lord. The thing, just because the Lord blessing you or nothing's happened to you doesn't mean the Lord dealing with you. It makes you think about Saul and, like certain, like the Sadducees. What was the high priest's name at the time? It's on the tip of my tongue. But, just because the Lord is the Lord's movie. His thoughts is not our thoughts. I remember when me and the young brother literally was sitting up there, we was reading the Old Testament, and I came to the conclusion, I was like, damn, there's a lot of more wicked kings than there was righteous kings. But to prove a point, to steer Israel in the direction where we needed a redeemer. That makes sense. But anyhow, yeah, carnal Jake is why we got a 2/3. And 2/3, if they don't understand that you need a savior, you ain't gonna never understand anything. So without further ado,
I don't know what it is with you supremacists. I don't know what it is with you Trump supporters, you MAGA people, any racists. I don't understand it because you for some reason get it fucked up and think that you're the only ones with guns and gear and train and all of that. You think just because you got some
scriptures say that Esau Edom was given the blessing of the sword. So you got to think about this, and I'm going to show you something too. When you go into the Old Testament, when the Lord or the Heavenly Father, Abba Nawa Yahweh, wasn't dealing with Israel, we would lose the battles. It was only when the Lord was dealing with us that we would take down our foes. That's why you got scriptures where it talk about one would chase 100, or 100 would chase 5,000, roughly paraphrased. So it wasn't our strength. And the thing is, you got to remember, it was in the law for a man-child to train at a certain age. But all the training in the world didn't help us overcome certain enemies when the Lord wanted us to lose. You got to understand, everything righteous or wicked comes from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All good and evil, everything. What's that scripture talk about? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua teaches my hands to war. Scriptures talk about the horse made ready for the battle. But if the Lord's not with it, it don't matter.
sellouts that validate your little racist opinions, you think you in the right. Well, I'm here to tell you that one, history has proven you wrong over and over and over again. It continues to as time goes on. Not only that, you've violated God's law. Forget supremacy. you gonna get some of my brothers and sisters, the ones that procrastinate and don't wake up and wise up and arm themselves and train and unite with their brothers and sisters.
And again, that's what, again, yeah, we supposed to be uniting, but we supposed to be uniting back and coming back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. I just looked the scripture up. I'm so completely tired. So Salakia for my week, preparation. But the scriptures talk, I think it's in Deuteronomy chapter 30, if I'm not mistaken. The scriptures talk about hearkening and coming back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Bear with me for a second. It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses, which are mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, which I have set before thee," it says, "And thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy power hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity." That's when the Lord gonna release us out of this captivity. Because even though you're not in physical shackles, we are in a captivity. You can't even do what the fuck you want. Again, when you really realize how I've been terrorized by the police. That's why I can't stand them. I don't give a fuck if it's a Edomite or it's a Jake. Just for you to represent that badge, I can't stand Jake. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some cool police officers. Again, I'm not everybody. Again, maybe I am going off. I don't know. Yeah, I know why the elder gets so frustrated and upset and really be putting curses on that man, because you watch that man have the name, and then you watched him literally. It's like it only can be selling out. You got to understand these individuals that's like the heads of these different organizations. With a Hebrew twist, they literally ain't stupid men. They not sottish. How did you think that the Lord got them to their position? Eloquent speakers, and able to command the attention of men and all that, like leadership traits. Everybody can't do that. It says, but if you're gonna be a leader, you want the respect of a leader, then be a fucking leader. Don't lead when we on camera. Lead all the time. But that's just my opinion. "Which the Lord thy power have scattered thee, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee." It says, so, "and shall return unto the Lord thy power." So that's the point. We got to return unto the Lord, not train and plan and, because we're not going to win physically like that. I had a book and I let brothers see it, and I can't think of the fucking dude's name, but I had 2 books like this, and it went into pretty much all, they tell you the only revolts we had was like Nat Turner, which that's not true. It was many slave revolts. And I had a book that dude went into it. I had more than one. But I do so much moving and losing shit and all demons. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, so the thing is, it's not about physically anything. If you've been in this truth for, where you got a solid foundation, I know you have had to been going through something, or you've really been in a desperate situation and you prayed or called on the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and he delivered you. Testimonies I've heard about brothers getting I remember at one point when it was just brothers in different camps getting in car accidents, coming away unscathed. The brother in our camp went through that. Like I said, what I just went through recently, I should have been dead. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking, it was so weird how the shit happened and everything. Not intoxicated, even though I'm always probably talking about was it my drink, but no, this time I was completely sober. Like I said, it was such a freak accident, and all I did was what they showed me to do. I probably could be suing them, but it's so many, what's the word? Factors to that. You go to try to sue, and it's like work-related job. You got to prove, you got fucked up. I ain't got time to give me the money that I got in the kingdom. I'm grateful to the Lord they fucked me up. How about that? Motherfucker, I remember I worked at a welding shop with a white boy. This motherfucker sawed his fingers off. That dude was able to go get a brand new truck to show you how goofy the white boy was because he was young, young dummy. He did spent like 45,000 on a fucking truck that had like fucking 150,000. You know what I'm saying? He got his dream truck, not even brand new, huh? Yeah, still this nigga ain't got no fingers. He got phantom fingers. That's the point. I'd rather have me and being able to actually like move like the Lord created as opposed to like some green money that's about to fail. Fuck out of here. But Salakia for the rant. You know me. I'm known for my rants. You know, and if you could tolerate it, that you if you can't, oh well, you know, this one wasn't meant for you.
Up and arm themselves and train and unite with their brothers and sisters, yeah, they gonna wait till the last minute and find themselves dead. You gonna get them. But the real motherfuckers that's a part of this community, the real people of color, we just waiting in the shadows. We playing defense just like our ancestors did. We just waiting for you to pop it off. A bunch of sissy motherfuckers talking about, oh, this my country, this my country. No. This is not your country. If it was your country, you wouldn't have used black and...
That's the only thing, because this is the second time I'm watching the video. This is the only thing that he said that was actually like made some sense. You know what I mean? Because he's absolutely right. This is not his country. This is not your country if you came to a land with other people on it. This man is showing you his nature. The scriptures talk about the violent man, and that's why. What did he do? Literally went and did what he did to Venezuela. Called himself trying to do what he did to Venezuela to Iran, but Iran said, "No, bitch, we ain't Venezuela." You know, now they talk about a ceasefire. They said, we're going to cease fire when we want to, you know, but you're going to have to explain, why did you bring this form of aggression? And that's going to make them look so, they can't stop. Listen, you got to understand a bully. A bully is not going to be able to let the world see he can't bully. You done already committed. You know how like when you throw out a jab and leave that bitch out too long? You know what I'm saying? If your jab ain't crisp like that, you know, you ain't slip back and get back in the guard, it's all bad for you, right?
Brown people to build.
So they overextended. You know, they ain't even got those those THAAD. No, I forgot what it's a missile that costs a lot of money. Like I said again, I'm halfway up, man. It's a missile that costs a lot of money, and Salakia, I forgot the name of that particular missile, but it's a very expensive missile, and they didn't have enough of them. You know what I'm saying? So now they looking stupid. Now, you know, basically this is about to be a long, drawn-out war, and you about to really like suffer. Everything is super expensive. A lot of people don't got no jobs. You know what I mean? And like I said again, they need munitions to fight this war, and of course, boots going on the ground. Because they know why you know boots going on the ground because they already exhausted a lot of the missiles they need to actually. You know what I mean? What's your next option? ICBM? How you gonna do that when you got your troops occupied in the land with them? Well, you're not in the land like that. You know, boots ain't hit the ground yet, but they in the vicinity. So you shoot a nuke off, you gonna hit your old soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he in a goofy ass situation, but like I said in a video previously or a prior video, this nigga's a goofy. I say, I don't know why y'all celebrate this man. This nigga, he has not, they call him a successful businessman, but in actuality, what successful business, you know, you got to understand that show, The Apprentice, was just to, you know, like how Rockefeller did when he basically became a philanthropist, like Bill Gates. That's to make their image look a certain kind of way. Most people want to understand what it motivates and what kind of policies that Bill Gates push. But because he gives out all this money, they think, oh, and that's, you know, a gift destroyeth the heart.
If it's your country, you wouldn't have took out loans from that same tyrannical government that you claim to have fled. If it's your country, you wouldn't need China or Africa's natural resources. You wouldn't need nobody. But it's funny that it's your country, you so patriotic, and everything in your country comes from outside this country. Every asset in this country comes from outside this country. And to my people, people of color, I love you, but you motherfuckers better wake up fast. Because you're going to find yourself in a very unfortunate situation. The only thing that's important right now is unity, is training.
So, and I agree with the unity part because, again, the scriptures talk about we all must turn to the east and pray to Yahweh Shema Shah. Again, scriptures say, seek out your own salvation. I don't even got to keep on justifying. I know why I did what I did. Wish, because, again, I don't think Jake inherently evil, nothing like that. Like, I don't think, again, I think I was amongst elect because, like I said, I met some beautiful spirits. But I also know that, like I said, again, sometimes the way Jake moved, be inconsiderate and on some fuck you type shit. Jake know what the fuck they did. That's why they made it seem like they didn't do shit. Like I said, why hide it if it was nothing? If it was me, I wouldn't have hid it. The fuck? Right. I ain't had the motherfucking thing I did from when I was buying pussy. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Jake do it with me. Like, not, you know what I'm saying? Not with me, but you know what I'm saying? Like, where you think? So it's funny. And, you know what I mean? Like, what Jake sitting up there trying to judge based on what? Like, say, like, judge me if I was based on if I was doing something unlawful in the scripture. Salakia for the rant. It's just that shit do really bother me. You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn, what did I do? That the Lord, either you did something righteous, you're a righteous person, or the Lord really fucking with you. Like, and that's the chance I'll take. Because again, I don't want to be one of these fools that has 2/3 niggas. You really think you about to? They went into Venezuela and said that they had some shit that made motherfuckers. They got bullets that shoot around corners. Like, I got a book about DARPA. DARPA got so much shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, DARPA got a hand that developed in the SEAP, if you didn't know that. So, I mean, but that's the spirit of the Lord. The Lord got everybody exactly where they supposed to be. Call Loyim La Yabashim El Shah. Because again, I didn't think I would see this. We seeing literally life-changing, world-changing events play out right before our eyes. And like the elder keeps saying, it's only two major prophecies got to take place. I always say that, crashing at the fish gates because it's, money gonna fail. But at the same time, you don't know exactly how the Lord gonna do that. Right now we are in a situation. That's Strait of Hormuz being closed. They just said that he just attacked them because they want them to try to open it back up. How can you get what I'm saying? Like, you see how proud that motherfucker is? So them bankers probably cussing his ass out. Nah, but you wanted them to attack it too. This retarded motherfucker.
Is training and healing from all the trauma that.
And that's what I was waiting on. He said healing, and the only true entity that can give us healing is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The scriptures is all about forgiveness and whatnot. And I really am trying to work on it. You know what I mean? In order to be forgiven, you got to forgive. I thought I had that pulled up. I swear I did. I don't even see how that happened. Maybe it's in one of these. Malachi 4:2. I had it on deck. Well, it's Malachi 4:2. Because the only power that can give us true healing is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You got all these people with self-improvement ideas and, I evolved and I transformed myself and all this, pseudoscience shit. But in actuality, to only really be, healed is from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We are a traumatized fucking people. Again, it's a beautiful thing to come to the understanding, wisdom, and knowledge and being, awakened to the truth that we Israelites. But then when you turn around and realize, okay, damn, the Lord blessed. That's why it's such a blessing to understand that you was gifted. It was grace. Because the Lord didn't have to wake you up. I was listening to a brother talk about that today. He was like, he remembers a situation happening as far as 2020. He was like, and then he just wondered, he was like, damn, these prophecies really moving. And then he was like, what made the Lord wake him up? And that's your mindset should be. Well, I know that's how my mindset should be. I always wonder, like, damn, to my Valley of the Dry Bones, I was amongst, like the elder brother from Chicago always say, a bunch of niggas. He always talk about how his family niggas. Trust me, I'd have been one of the family members you wouldn't have wanted to come see. Or this nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, big family of demons. And if the Lord wouldn't have woke me up to, like, I wonder where I'll be. So it's a privilege and a blessing to actually have been given this truth. So it's a scripture or something that talks about how do the most with what you've been given or something like that. You got to understand, just being a Israelite man in the society is oppressive to your spirit. On the last job, this old ass Edomite trying to size me up, and I'm nothing but around. Well, it was Jake, but all the Jake quit, so I was still working outside when they quit because I got children. It wasn't that bad either. Like if you layer up, it wasn't that bad. But I got fucking hurt, and then they tried to sit up there, and I ain't even say nothing about the shit because I'm like, did I tell them some shit about my children? Them motherfuckers up there, just like Esau, use you up until you can't use you no more. I said, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? Like he said, y'all live machines and shit, and I'm out here in the cold, and I'm not, what's the word? My delusions of grandeur ain't to just drive this fucking machine. They driving excavators and shit, and they like, well, you ain't got to have no license to drive it. This is like a $500,000 motherfucking machine, but you'll let a person that don't got license drive it. Just show you how retarded y'all is. This book of Malachi chapter 2. I'm not following no dumbass people like that. Then when something happened, you know what I'm saying? Malachi 4:2. That's how the fuck I end up getting hurt. Malachi 4:2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall stand, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked. Who are the wicked? Malachi 1:4 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. No, Salaki. That's Job 9. Malachi says that Esau Edom is the border of wickedness. Bear with me for a second. Verse 3 again, and ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua of hosts. So ultimately, when the Lord puts the spirit and power on us, like I said, the scriptures talk about, the scriptures talk about a lot of different things as far as us getting retribution and revenge. But not, again, the scriptures say, wait upon me till I shall rise up against the prey. And if you are one of those chosen that the Lord give spiritual power to, shit, to be honest, I don't necessarily got to get spiritual power because that's for, those that the Lord really considers special. Think about that. To be imbued with heavenly power. I can think of a multitude of video games and movies and cartoons. But shit, if the Lord just protect me or hide me, I'm content with that. Like I was thinking about that draft, which I ain't really worried about it. Again, I don't even think I fall in the number. I know it go beyond 18 and 26 because when they get desperate, they just putting bodies in there. And you can't trust this devil. They had put their grandfather that's 88 in the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I watched this movie with Kurt Russell, and they had the dude that played Bruce Lee, and they were soldiers and shit. I can't think of the name of the movie. It might be called Soldier. And long story short, they would make them fight, and pretty much the new soldier was the young dude that played Bruce Lee. What's his name? Jason Lee. And Kurt Russell was the old soldier. So the new soldier was like the upgraded model. They was fighting, and of course the younger dude got the more strength and whatnot, but Kurt Russell was the more experienced soldier. He fucked him up. Like he took out his eyeball or some shit like that, and they was like immune. They didn't have emotions. They was like emotionless. So that's what made them like more efficient soldiers. Like whatever they was told to do, they went and did. So long story short, because of the fact, even though now he fucked up, the dude Jason Lee, you see him later in the movie, they didn't just eliminate him or he didn't just work in the kitchen. No, he drove the vehicle. And that's where I think my brother got that whole concept of even though you injured, they'll still use you. You a body. Well, ultimately, it's all the will of the Lord. You could be 18 if the Lord with you and he don't want you to go, you ain't going. It's all the will of the Lord. Everything the will of the Lord. If you could be 73 and if the Lord wants you to go, you go. Hey, it's so funny too, because it was like a year or two when they was doing the incentive for the older people, like that was like in their 60s. Talking about if you can pass the physical, they gonna give you like a $50,000. It was a goofy bonus. Hey, you that desperate? What? I mean, don't get me wrong. You got a lot of older people that's in shape. You know, you got. You know, I'll be watching a lot of little fitness shows and fitness shows on YouTube and whatnot. And you got dudes that go work out with them dudes like with Rip Right. You got dudes that's fucking. It's a dude up there 60 in better shape than you know what I mean. Men that's in their 20s. Stronger, got more strength, all that. So, you know, again, the spirit, the discipline, and the human body are truly amazing. I'm just rambling. I just really want to finish the video.
We suffer from. There is nothing else more important. Not them designer clothes that you spend your whole paycheck.
And again, that's why I said he keep on putting his foot in his mouth. Because he's right. You know, niggas concerned about what people see. Like I said, yeah, the Messiah came riding a donkey. And that's what's prophesied for him to do that. Because although he was the most elevated, he came the most humblest. I just watched the brother make that statement about it's all about being humble, which is true. That's why I never, you know, purposely bucked up against the elders. How I'm gonna buck up and literally, I'm actually like, not regurgitating, because sometimes I put a little different spin on. I mean, I don't change the doctrine, but I might say it in a different way. You know, try to say it mean the same, but you know what I mean. Like I might not use the exact same words, parroting. You know, but the point being, you know, like how can you buck up to something like that? Like so, every man that literally when the elders start getting on them, or you know, certain brothers start getting on them, you know what I mean? Like, you know, what the scripture say? Rebuke is better than secret love. If you favor somebody more but don't want to say that to because you know because you respect her, you care, or I fuck with him more, like that's off. Because a lot of individuals are respecters of persons. And I've seen that in this truth.
To satisfy some motherfucker that don't give a fuck about you. Not that expensive ass car that you went and got.
I saw the post the brother made. He showed the one Jake with the machine gun looking stupid. He said, all for a Dodge Charger. And yeah, you had Jake do that. You know, again, I could have went to the military a couple times, and if I'd have went, it wasn't no wars going on. But I was a nigga. I'm like, nigga, we's making money. This is, you know what I mean? Like, ah. And, you know, the Lord know what he doing. You know what I mean? Like, bear with me. And make sure you clean that bone because you haven't been cleaning it. If you're done, go wash your hands and go put on your clothes.
Press a bunch of motherfuckers that you probably not even gonna be friends with a year from now. None of that materialistic dumb shit is important. And the faster you realize that, is the faster you can start your process to healing. It's the faster that you can start your process to uniting this community. Is the faster that we can start the process to really fixing some shit. But guess what? Until y'all do so, ain't nothing gonna happen. It's just we gonna continue talking, gonna continue doing a whole bunch of nothing but complaining until y'all do some healing. If you live in a state that is not Second Amendment friendly, move.
And the thing is, again, Jake with these delusions, you know, he going into, you know, they kept human rights from us and what, which is some truth to it. But at the same time, you know, again, they not really concerned about you with your weaponry. You know, they are to a degree. That's why you got, you know, these different, you know, things on the books like Project Megiddo and, you know, Rex 84 and you know, the Prince, what's it, the Prince Albert plan. You know, you got these different things on the books as far as how they intend to deal with, you know, you blacks and you blacks and Hispanics, or you Israelites, you know, and that just shows you the devil. He gonna act like you part of him, but then in actuality, like, no, really, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing that, you know, I was never deceived. I never trusted them. You know. Matter of fact, let me get the scripture because he made that stupid ass statement. No, what's suck about these apps and shit? Make you want to develop your own app. All these fucking ads, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna make me get down to. You know what that'll do though? That'll actually get me, um, better with the scripture. I think it's Psalm 44, verse 6. This is the book of Psalms 44 and 4. Thou art my king, O power, command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us. Verse 6, the point. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us. So at the end of the day, it's the Lord that's going to deliver us again. Like I said, I can forget where it's at, but it's in the law, the Old Testament, about how at a certain age, the man supposed to, the boy child, the man child, supposed to like be taught or trained in war. Like I said again, Jake said up every, and yeah, he right. We got to come back, because again, like he said, you sitting up there really in la la land, or you want to what's the what they call one, like a, not a hermit, but a person that like really damn, like antisocial or whatever. And then last minute when all shit hit the fan, you trying to run and get protection. I considered all this before I did what I did. Call me crazy or call me, again, I knew the Lord was testing more than just. Oh, he was testing to see how you gonna deal with this situation. This man just literally said, "Fuck you." But let's fake it. I ain't even mad at Jake, but I probably ain't gonna never stop speaking on it. Maybe that shit. I don't. Maybe I pray the Lord take the shit off my spirit. Lord be blessing me. As difficult this shit is, can you only imagine how difficult this is? And I put myself in the situation because I wasn't gonna fake shit. But like he was saying. There you need help and you trying to latch on to a group of people and now they don't trust you. That's just like I stay in an area where these niggas don't know me. All kind of bullshit happen over here. I'm talking about when I first came in here, I had to have a brother anoint the house. My daughter's seeing shit and shit. All kind of demons came from over here. That's what I'm trying to get the fuck away from. But like one of my favorite movies is 30 Days a Night. And it was a guy that was an antisocial person, but he saved their ass. So again, the Lord is the orchestrator and director of this movie.
That is not Second Amendment friendly. Move. I get it. Easier said than done, Mo. I get it. But what's more valuable, what's more important than the safety of your children? What's more important than the safety?
What he doesn't realize is you don't control any of that, period. You can have all the guns, all the knives, all the martial prowess that you can, and yet still, if the Lord, you know what I mean? I remember the elder saying he had a dream where he was overwhelmed by individuals. But then, I think he said he was overwhelmed and was taken in, and then he was like pretty much, he had to fight his way out though.
Give your family and friends. What's more important than the safety of this community? And you should be in a location where you can legally defend your community. If you in New York, California, or any other state that is not Second Amendment friendly, you're fucked already. And for the slow people in the back, gun control was created so black people, so people of color could not arm themselves, which is why they didn't want to make us citizens. They didn't want to make us human, because if they made us human and if we were classified as human beings, then they would have to give us the same rights that they gave the whites, which now we have. Use them and stop being selective.
And that show you how naive this goofy motherfucker is. Because, like I said again, we got rights. Yeah, but I've seen them trample on my rights and individuals' rights so many different times. What's that dude, George Floyd? Get the fuck out of here. And even though they say he was a nigga and this and that and that and this, like regardless of any of that, they pretty much murdered that man on TV. So how the fuck you got rights? But yet and still, Somebody be somewhere listening to this nigga. Like, you got people that listen to Charles and White. Like, he's such a. I watched him sit up there and say something like some. How did he say it? He said some bullshit about Mike Tyson. And you know, I think Mike Tyson is a sellout and he sold his soul to a degree and all that. And he know what to say and not to say because he realized he been on that upper echelon and rubbed shoulders or elbows with certain individuals. You know? But at the same time, Mike Tyson probably experienced shit that you would never understand. That's why, like, I think they said Mike Tyson. I know Rosie Perez said this, and then I forgot where. I think it was the elder brought that up. They said Mike Tyson was in the club, and the dude pulled out the pistol, and Mike Tyson just sat there, and he talked him up. He talked him down, and she got a testimony of. Well, she can't testify. She got recollection of an account where it was a party and the dude pulled out a pistol and she went and ran and got Mike and Mike came and he just come, you know, like also end up talking dude down. He ain't fighting with us, he just talked him down. You know what I mean? So just imagine the pain that man said. You know, and the funny part is somebody just posted about you had the NFL player that tried to stop a fight and they killed him. So everybody ain't in the same, like the elder say, it's different levels, right?
Only using the rights that are convenient for you to use. Who does it benefit by you not being armed? Anybody wanting to cause harm on you and your family. Educate yourself and heal. Train and heal. Arm yourself and heal. Unite with the people and heal. There shouldn't be no blood versus blood, Crip versus Crip, GD versus GD, BD versus BD, Vice Lord versus Vice Lord, or any of the...
Well, what he don't understand is, like, again, another delusion. The Lord got this set up. It'll never be complete unity, not on this side. That's why you got a remnant. Like he said, he even know that much. That's why I say he know a few little things. So he gonna have people listening to him. But he said everything but the true solution, which is us arming ourselves with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And this nigga don't even know the name. So while he's sitting up there just so for sure that shit gonna save him, you got people that stocked food and literally don't know if that shit gonna save you. You know, again, the Lord showed me a lot since I've not been around the brothers. You know, I watched somebody prepping in certain kind of ways and I was like, well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And then I watched the Lord make me have to use that shit. So am I really gonna put my complete trust in that? You know, the scriptures promote, you got the ability to protect yourself. But if you got a tool to use to protect yourself, you really gonna trust in that or that? You know what I mean? You know, it's funny. The police got guns, but a mob of motherfuckers can still fuck them up. Because you only gonna get so many people with these guns. So understand what the fuck you really involved in. That go for this dumbass nigga and anybody that's thinking carnally that called themselves in this truth.
In between. There shouldn't be all of your gangs was created to protect the community. So why have y'all not returned to that purpose? I don't want to hear no excuses.
Because of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. It's the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua that they don't return. You get what I'm saying? Because we're not being saved through ourselves or fighting back and overcoming the devil through physical fighting. No, we need a savior. If it's just, like you said, because we need to be healed from all the fucking trauma. But like I said again, what really makes me get salty is, like I said again, he'll be considered like a wise person in the community. Oh, that nigga, because he own a business or drive. You know what I mean? This nigga work for Ford. Nigga, the fuck? That's worse than Kanye said. And Kanye got billions again. It's funny how he had to do all that and go through all that and then say he was a fag in order to get his money back, huh?
I already done heard them all. I already done researched them all. I know about how this government did this and they took all the leaders away and now we ain't got no structure. I know all of that. But how you gonna keep using it as an excuse when we got work to do? Take responsibility, unite, let's repair and heal this community, and we'll deal with the root of the problem, i.e. the supremacists, after we're done with the healing. But for now, you motherfuckers better wake up. If you thinking that just because...
That just kind of pissed me off because, again, he talking about, then we do this healing and all that. Nigga, you couldn't even control how you look. That's how inconsequential we are as human beings. The scriptures call us worms. A worm is a defenseless animal. That's why you could pull that motherfucker about a worm don't got no teeth. The Lord said, I'm going to make you a sharp threshing instrument with teeth.
You from the hood, just because you from the ghetto, that, oh, you just going to wake up when the war happened. You just going to wake up when some bullshit happened. And now all of a sudden you proficient in war tactics. You proficient in how to survive. You proficient in how to defend your family. No, that little Glock you got, it ain't going to cut it. You're going to be the first ones out the door. You're going to be the first ones up there sitting in the upper room. So do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your friends a favor. Do what it takes. Stop choosing the convenient content route and do what it takes to educate yourself on how to protect your family, how to heal yourself properly, emotionally and mentally, and then watch how the momentum from that propels this community into unseen potential.
So like I said, fair use. I got a few scriptures because again, we coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, and that's why that spirit of war is coming on the earth. You know, again, Russia did it. I watched how violence increased, and now America, the aggressor. So just watch my words. Watch how wild America about to get. You know, I was just listening to the brother in the news. He was saying violence about to increase. Hell yeah. That's why it's so important to stay prayed up. You know, you better get it like in the mindset of a Sunni. You know, and it's funny because I always, you know, like I know a little bit about the Nation of Islam. You know, at one point they didn't even accept Jake. Now I think it's one of those because you got the Sunni and the I can't think of the other branch, but they didn't accept Jake. That's why Jake had to come up with the Nation of Islam. Now I think they do. But them the ones that usually be the crash test dummies. Them probably gonna be the sleeper cells. I would have to look it up. It's on the tip of my fucking tongue too. But no, the scriptures talk about the Most High musters the host of the battle. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7, and it reads, alas, I'm gonna start up. Jeremiah 30 and verse 4, and these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. So if anybody tell you that, you know, we about to build in a place that the Lord about to throw down, the scriptures tell you that in the book of Malachi. You shall build, but I shall throw down. The Lord throwing this bitch down now. That's why everybody's suffering. You know. Yeah, I mean, you know, as far as like trying to latch on to anything here, like thinking that we got another 30 to 50 to, you know what I mean? Like, come on, these motherfuckers so desperate, a 50-year mortgage. Fuck out of here. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. You know, because the continents, you know, the fear. And I always equate that to, I think, like Casper the Friendly Ghost. When they saw Casper, motherfuckers, you know, faces turned stark white.
3 signs that your blood pressure.
That's true fear. Alas, for that day is great, so that is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And he is the elect. So this Jacob's trouble is not for those that's doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Those that believe it. It's for the 2/3. And Jacob's trouble is going to actually spill over into everybody's trouble. Because the Lord is coming to judge the earth. What's the scripture? Great pride, 2 Ezra chapter 8. Many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time because they have walked in great pride. We know Esau Edom, the elder brother, was just doing a video talking about some showing that dude Pete Hegswit. Said we done laid them to the bottom of the sea and all this shit. They say it's a low of casualties with the Babylon the Great too. And you know they're not reporting the right number. They don't report the right numbers for the jobs, you think they're gonna report the right numbers for these casualties? And prepare for that draft, because that's gotta come. Damn, even the phone click. I read that. What did I want? This is the Most High that mustered the host of the battle. Maybe I should get it in so I can go into that word muster. Wash your hands. You can just take that down to the bottom of the steps. You go wash your hands. You go change your clothes because you only got like 20 minutes. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. I'm gonna go straight to the point. And reads, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. That's going into all these different armies all around the world, which is so spiritual because, again, you see all these different nations basically getting involved with the Iran, Israel, USA, or Babylon the Great conflict, which is actually the beginning of the world wars. The world wars, all these different nations is involved. Look up the word muster. I'm just the word muster.
Strong's H6485. Pakad.
Says a primitive word to visit, friendly or hostile intent, by analogy to oversee. So it's the Lord over. I could end it with that one. It's the Lord overseeing, this. So while this dude sitting back and we sitting back watching it all, what I mean, dude's had a lot of proud shit. So make you question. He was sounding like an Edomite. I mean, sometimes we talk too fast. What I mean, I've been known to say put my foot in my mouth as well. But again, back in the day, I would have thought that was wrong. This nigga's enlightened. No, this nigga's a dumbass. Him and Donald Trump should go sit down and I don't know what the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that just as delusional as DJ Trump is, that dude sound the same. It's, appoint, charge, commit, deliver to keep, enjoin, set, visit, want. To be appointed. So it's the word muster. It says that the Lord is the one that musters the host of the battle. So it's the Lord that appoints these nations that they're going to do their war. So again, like while this dude sitting back talking about, we doing this and doing all that, the Lord just literally got you in a situation, where you probably going to be one of those casualties while he talking about everybody else. Somebody that's of the elect, no matter what their situation. Because you got to take time to think about this. I know a particular brother that I know the elder feel the spirit is on. And that brother's so humble, he be like, he don't even call himself a prophet. He say he a friend to the prophets. But I know for a fact, at one point, he couldn't get to the brothers. So, because he's not amongst the brothers, but he doing the work, he's not going to be delivered. The elect are scattered all throughout the earth. So if you believe just because you amongst a bunch of men that's going to save you, no, you got a good chance of not falling out the truth, and you got that camaraderie, and you got it's a lot of benefits with being in both situations. Walk both lines. But also watch the Lord. Again, if everybody complaining about how expensive everything is, then explain to me how the fuck I get this far. I ain't got no fucking money. I ain't saying one thing since I've been don't believe or I would go fall out of. Oh, it's too hard. Like, no, the Lord, I've watched the Lord deal with me. I read Malachi. So it's the Lord doing all this. What else do I want? And ultimately, again, I've already read how the Lord, because at the end of the day, the scriptures talk about, um, bringing life or breathing life into these dry bones. We were pretty much like that dude, not knowing who we were in the world. Even if you're not a nigga, like doing nigga shit, selling drugs or whatever, I knew niggas that was poor, that was in the streets, that didn't even really sell drugs. They just was throwing rocks at the penitentiary. You going out there, you can get in trouble for this shit, but you not even, if you go, when you taking chances, like when you out in the streets and you making money illegally like that, you're not supposed to be in there for making it a career. You know what I mean? And I only had like 2 older people explain that to me, showing you how just everybody just was so, like the brother say, cutthroat, don't give a fuck. I had 2 because it was meant for you to get in, get out. Maybe you get in and then you buy you a business to benefit. Not you ain't supposed to get 35 fucking numbers. That's why they made laws where if you keep on repeat offending, it's just now you, like in California, now it's 25 to life. And to show you how scandalous the shit is, it could be over some shit like you could have really not been gangbanging no more or not selling drugs anymore. It could be domestic violence. Now you got 25 years because you a 3rd-time felon. Like, that's crazy. And that's how cheap life is to them. They do the same shit in Ohio. And that's funny because Texas and Ohio got the most prison right after. If you ever pay attention, Ohio shaped thy power. I think it's in Philippians. I'm gonna end it with Amos 2. And I'm gonna end it with Amos 4. Because again, we in the time of Jacob's trouble. This is the book of Amos chapter 2 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and have not kept his commandments, and their lies cause them to err after the which their fathers have walked. But I will send a fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver, and the poor for a pair of shoes, that pant after the dust of the earth on the head of the poor, and turn aside the way of the meek. And a man and his father will go in unto the same maid to profane my holy name. Just going to fuck off. You know what I mean? Just listen to the elder brother speaking on that. All kind of witchcraft, all kind of, Jay, go to fuck off. And that's how we still need healing. And I don't give a fuck about how much training or, hugging y'all do. That's not going to save you. We got to get right with the Lord. What I seen as far as being in this truth and watching brothers actually get along, I mean, it's like 2 different worlds. I've literally been with brothers and we actually like chilling and not hostile to one another and actually building with one another, edifying. And then we'll go to the store and see some niggas mean mugging us. It's really deep. Showing you how the Lord literally, that's how powerful the Lord is. Just imagine that. I've seen Jake come amongst the camp and literally may not understand nothing that we said, but actually see the spirit on us where we just all in unison. We all in camaraderie. How you gonna build something kind of military alliance when we under curses where we ain't gonna see, what's that? His eye will be evil towards his brother. You can't even get along with your Eve. You and your woman y'all despise each other. But you talking about building this alliance to fight against the devil. Well, good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 8, and they laid themselves down upon clothes laid to pledge by every altar, and they drink the wine of the condemned in the house of their power. Idolatry is rampant throughout Israel. A nigga will love money like a Floyd Mayweather and to show cold because he owe all that money. That's why he got to do these 3 fights. Mayweather fought when he wanted to fight. Now you got to fight 3 fights. Mike Tyson won his both of them trying to get some money. You know what I mean? Both of them doing a money grab. I don't even really knock that one because if you still watching boxing, you know, it took for Garcia to get beat up for him to literally, for those top echelon, so-called top echelon fighters to start fighting each other. It took for him to lose. Pay attention to it. Because nobody wanted to be the loser. In boxing, you got to be the fucking loser. Who said that shit? He said, I aspire for the championship. What's that? Sugar Shane Mosley? He remind me of Lil Wayne. Because, you know, Sugar Shane Mosley showed Mayweather respect and Mayweather disrespecting. And it just made me think about certain shit like, that's Jake for you. Even though Jake could recite scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But you talk about humble. A lot of soul searching got to go on. Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them. The Lord said, I did that. You ain't do shit. But he talking about we gonna fight and we been trading. Hey, Richard Pryor, one of my favorite jokes about him, he said he used to box. He said he got that ring. He said, what that nigga say in Bloodsport? Brick don't hit back. Because it's one thing when you fighting against a person that don't know how to fight, but it's another thing when the motherfucker train just as much as you. Now you got to fight. And that's what America, Babylon the Great saw when they went to fuck with Iran. They said, oh shit. Hey, you ever seen, what movie was that when the nigga ran up in the house and they got the busting at his ass? That nigga ran up, oh shit. He ran about that bitch. It says, yet destroyed I the Amorite before them whose height was like the height of the cedars. At the time when the Lord did this, the Amorites was in power. And he was strong as the oaks, yet I destroyed his fruit from above and his roots from beneath. Also I brought you up from the land of Egypt and led you 40 years through the wilderness to possess the land of the Amorite. And I raised up of your sons for prophets and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord? But ye gave the Nazarites wine to drink and commanded the prophets, saying, prophesy not. The Nazarites, you know, what's his name? Samson was a Nazarite. I think they scriptures talk about Paul, or I don't think it's in the scriptures. I think the elders just broke it down, went through the history. Paul pretty much was doing the rite of the Nazarite, and he had to break it. Behold, I am pressed under you as a cart is pressed that is full of sheaves. Therefore the flight shall perish from the swift, and the strong shall not strengthen its force, neither shall the mighty deliver himself. Damn, that's scary. This dude said that these people weak and a nigga that ain't training, literally he gonna be what's the word? Damn, I gotta start reading my I got a dictionary too. I had a thesaurus. Not a casualty, but a liability. That's spirit called liability. A nigga that ain't training is a liability. But the Lord just said, neither shall he standeth that handle, well, I was reading 14. Therefore the flight shall perish from the swift. So meaning you ain't gonna have the strength to run fast. And the strong shall not strengthen his force. Neither shall the mighty deliver himself. You know, scriptures talk about mighty men. But the Lord said, if I'm not with you, it don't matter. Verse 15, neither shall he stand that handle of the bow, and he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself. Neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself. Verse 16, and he that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'm going to end it with this. This is the book of Amos chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 9. The point is verse 12. I have smitten you with blasting and mildew when your gardens and your vineyards and your fig trees and your olive trees increase. The palm worm devoured them, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I have sent among you the pestilence after the manner of Egypt. Your young men have I slain with the sword, and have taken away your horses, and I have made the stink of your camps to come up into your nostrils, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord. I have overthrown some of you as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and ye were as a firebrand plucked not of the burning, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord. So these Lord has done all these different things. Because that was the point of the blessings and the curses. If you follow it, like how a parent rewards his child. You do the right thing, I'm gonna bless you. You doing the wrong thing, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Or I'm gonna withhold stuff from you. So the whole point of the curses was to get you to come back to the realization, damn, I'm messing up. Let me go back to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is very simple for real. That's deep. For those that the Lord wants to get it. I've overthrown some of you as... Did I read that? I have sent among you your pestilence after... So like I've sent among you the pestilence after the manner of Egypt. Your young men have I slain with the sword and have taken away your horses, and I have made the stink of your camps to come up into your nostrils, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord. Verse 11, I have overthrown some of you as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and ye were as a firebrand plucked out of the burning, yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Verse 12, the point. Therefore thus will I do unto thee, O Israel, and because I will do this unto thee, prepare to meet thy power, O Israel. And that's where you get that saying, prepare to meet thy maker. I'm probably end it with 13. For lo, he that formeth the mountains, the Most High, and createth the wind, the Most High, and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the power of hosts, is his name. And for a dude like that just talking about good, again, you sound like an Edomite, but he don't necessarily have to be an Edomite. He was too passionate about the fact of what took place. Be like, I think he Jake. He just, I don't think Jake can't shoot, because Jake could do any fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake put their mind to something. One of the coldest snipers is the dude they call the Reaper. That's a Jake. But did you know one of the coldest snipers was a female? Right. A shame on us. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to end the lesson there because, again, you got to come out the carnality. And I'm talking about myself first and foremost. You know what I mean? Because, I don't think, I'm not worried about going. You know what I mean? It's the will of the Lord. I remember going to jail trying to see my children. And then the Lord give me the children. I was like, what the fuck? So that let you know, stop trying to do your own will. I done got caught cases and all kind of shit. And I'm not going over there beating their ass. That was probably the Lord telling me, like, nigga, you just wait. Like, stop trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? Let the bitch suffer. That show you how stupid a woman is. I ain't saying all women either. Like, a female hear this and get offended. If it don't apply, if it don't pertain to you, what did you get upset for? It don't apply to you. Put that on the porch. That don't go in here. Now you don't remember how to do nothing? Yeah, y'all do some silly stuff, man. Salakia for the rant. Salakia for taking longer. This wasn't really meant to be that drawn out like that. But, So with that, I'm going to end the lesson. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power. His true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. You will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Call Loyim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachagodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aquath out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in land and other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Say Kwam Yasharala and the Waf Baba Ball.